Today is Saturday, July 13th. I'm here. Sunday. I'm here at Fort Myers Beach again. I know my car developed a brake issue. All four brake pads and rotors and all wheels need to be replaced. And I can't risk driving any length of distance with that car in that type of condition that it's in. The problem is, the cheapest mechanic is trying to charge $1,100. I mean, 6 years ago, it doesn't seem like that much time, but I had the front brakes and rotors done for $200 just 6 years ago. So I was expecting like 400, maybe 500 max, which I think is a ripoff, but especially when you can buy all four rotors and brake pads online for $145 total. That includes shipping. So you think that, oh wow, the difference between the $1,100 that they're trying to charge me and $144 is pure profit. And I was told it only takes about an hour to do all four. So a friend of mine would do it, but he's incapacitated, so it's kind of sad. Actually, I got two other friends that would do it, but they're all busy. And you hate asking favors. I would do it myself, but I don't have the right tools. Not that I can't go out and buy them for $1,100. I'm still considering it. I have a jack. I just need some jack stands. The last time I did it myself, though, I cracked the windshield, and I have a type of car that you really can't. You have to do it right, which means you really need to put the car in a lift. So without a lift, I would be. I may crack my front windshield again. So anyway, it looks like it's high tide, and there's a rain cloud that's over Sanibel, the causeway, and it's coming this way. So that's pretty sad. So it's high tide because Hello. So the rainstorm is coming, so I may have to. It's coming from west, and I'm west of it, so I have see the second shot. This was a little tiny microcell. Cloud level was up to 70,000 feet. It was raining like heck over Sanibel. This little microcell. Just 10 minutes ago. Now it's blossomed, and it's all the samples getting hit with rain, and all the causeway, and Pine Island, and Pine Rest. So this little tiny microcell has grown almost into a supernova 6 hurricane. So you can see it. Look at this. That was like 1/3 of the size that it is now, 10 minutes ago. So it's just touching Bobwitch Point, but there is some sun I can see that's right on the causeway. When I say sun, more of hope. It's back this way. Yes, the brakes will be changing. Noise problem, but that's not going to solve it. Just buys me maybe a couple days. Right, so the time very high. Water here is full of seaweed, so it must have been a rough surf last night. I can see that. I say that with confidence because the seaweed, in other words, the seaweed doesn't. There's still a lot of green in it, so it's new. Definitely, it's within the last 12 hours. And tide's not that high. I can see it pulling all seaweed back into the water, but no, I can see from the tide here, the last tide that got this out was 12 hours ago. So this is new seaweed that's washing. Now, is the seaweed bunched up like the tide coming in, or is it spread out? You know what? It's slightly bunched up, but it could be receding at the same time. There's a lot of seaweed in the water too. Seaweed in the water would indicate high tide. Seaweed not in the water would indicate the tide has pushed it out onto the beach. So far, this beach is really good. Even that menacing looking micro supercell straight ahead of me here is still pleasing to the eye. It gives me something to look at. Someone just in front of me is flying a drone. It's kind of cool. It's a little tiny drone. $59 drones. They're having fun with it. At the beach is the best place. A lot of people are fixing their hair here at the beach. And I guess it's hair fixing day. Sunday hair fixing day. There's no traffic getting on the beach again. This is off season, so summer actually is a summer season, but no. Families know that this area still got hit with a hurricane. 2 hurricanes last year, yes. So the hurricane, they don't know of all the hurricanes that have come through. They don't realize, see, you have to live down here to know that basically it's September and the first 2 weeks of October, that's hurricane season. And if hurricanes come outside of that window, that's the exception to the rule, but we're like, it's just the month of September and the first 2 weeks of October. True, hurricanes do come here in August, late August. True. Hurricane Irma hit us right before Halloween. But those are rare. It was 10:30, so it must be about 11:30 right now. I've had a lot of traffic. Some time to pick up the car to get here. Got St. George, man. Now this is interesting. They got the water aimed up in the air. Don't ask me that, but they caused a big erosion in the beach. I guess I can go behind this. Kind of interesting how they have shooting up in the air. Probably a question mark. Nice downdraft is coming from this thunderhead straight ahead. So the temperature must go from 95 degrees down to like 89, like it is. I'm getting a nice cold breeze. failed to have it in stock. So they shifted my order over to another vendor who promised to deliver it. So who knows? So I still expect it by next weekend. I wasn't going to cancel that purchase. I was getting all these weird emails saying that I got credit on my account. I don't take credit. Sorry. I either buy something or I cancel the order. This guy with the flags here, he's here every week. He's here Saturday and Sunday. He's definitely a salt dog. And so it's nice and cool over here. I'd say it's about 87 right now. I'm getting a lot of downdrafts from this microcell that's evaporating in front of us. It's still raining like crazy on the San Juan Causeway, the first island. Actually, on the bridge between the two islands. I can see the first island bridge. It's clear. And I can see a little sun reflection. It looks like San Juan's coming into the sun, at least the east end of the island. I still see rain hitting Middle Gulf Drive. I see rain hitting One Island. Sorry. I saw them. They were weaving. I didn't know which way they were going. Okay, there is a dredge out there. I don't see the pirate boat. But this time the pirate boat should be headed back to port with its first cargo of people. Malachi? There are a lot of people in Malachi. They're not renovating their hotel like Diamond would. That's nice thing about Fort Myers Beach. It used to be Fort Myers Beach never had any rules. You could have an open container. You could pull your car right up to the beach and park. No fees, no parking fees. It was just really laid back. And all of a sudden, like since 1985, so every single pool that everywhere else in this liberal world, and then all of a sudden Fort Myers Beach has it. Not that the local residents wanted it, just that people came down here, got themselves into politics, which I think is a criminal organization, and then are able to enact laws that the citizens don't want. The citizens do want, only a minority wants. And now we all have to suffer. I think politicians should be held responsible. And there should be a review of all their decisions semi-annually. If the citizens don't like it, any of them, then that's what's called a no-confidence vote. And politicians are immediately thrown out of office. Okay, so here's some sites coming up. We'll see. Some tattoos going on. It's a mom and daughter act. Anyway, we'll come back this way. We'll see if it's walking back. This is a good time to walk though because with the clouds obscuring the sun, the sunset's lying on the beach. You are getting some tanning factor. At my garage sale yesterday, I didn't put any sunblock on. I had off DDT, but that doesn't block the sun. So I got burned to a crisp. I was sitting in the shade most of the time, but even my little forays out into the sun, I got toasted. Passive Margaritaville. See that many people there. I hear the pool there and stuff. Yeah, and see, rain is pretty much coming to an end. Now it's raining big time over my house. Looking up to the north. So we didn't have rain the last 2. Well, actually no. Last night there was like a little dusting of rain. Just enough to keep the grass happy. 2 ice cream vendors. There shouldn't be a rule of only 2 ice cream vendors. This area of the beach, there's very little beach at high tide, so this is an indication of tide's coming. There was a full moon last night. It started pretty early. Actually, no, I didn't get that until about 11:30. Anyway, full moon started at 11:30. It was blowing in my windows. It kept me up for the next couple of minutes. But I had a nice sleep last night. Only 6 hours. Which I call a good night's sleep. Usually I can't get through 4, but if I got 6, tonight I'll definitely get a good night's sleep because I'm going to be doing after this bicycle ride. I'm going 2 separate lawns. So I'm not going all the way down to Pink Shell. Same old down there. I like going in front of the Best Western Plus though, because that hotel is special meeting. So remember that. I remember that hotel. You watch every phase of the reconstruction. I still think it should be a casino. There's still available land on both sides of it. To build a parking garage, to build a lazy river swimming pool. And yeah, the casino. But the casino could be on the top floor. Why not? The top floor of that building is flat. I mean, you add a couple more room layers and casino, restaurant. Yeah. So doubles. More than barrier. And then offer in-suite gambling on the TV. Occupancy. Looks like the crowds have come down a little bit. Could be an indication that they're driving too much or just people come out mountains this morning. It's a gorgeous morning. Sunday starts the new day of the week, so people could still be arriving today. Maybe the afternoon people are better too. People packed up and left yesterday afternoon probably. So this morning they're still coming from the airport. They're probably out shopping at supermarkets. Definitely some beer, some drinks because there's no sun levels here on the south side out. Alright, so this thing here is just pumping out a lot of noise. Anyway, it's so gorgeous. I feel like bicycling farther. Alright, we'll go a little bit further, but it looks ahead that the beach is changing, so I may have to actually have to turn around, but it's kind of loud. Alright. So there's a sandbar about 10 yards offshore. Looks like it merges up here. And then there's another sandbar about 50 yards offshore. It's a pretty wide one too. That boat is on the sandbar, and that lady is about 3 feet deep on the sandbar, so the tide still has another foot or two to drop. It's still closer to high tide than it is low tide. But this is definitely the hotel I would recommend staying at. And they're not even paying me to sponsor it. I'm just saying that for its location, its beautiful beach, you know, having that pump sound off all day and night, that's not a good thing. But besides that, you get a good view of the water. It's per se, there's less traffic in terms of people in this island, and it's easy to get off the island in case there is an event or just a tie-up and snarl up in traffic. So it's easier to get off the island here. I've seen a lot of tattoos on women. I don't know. A lot. I don't know what the deal is with that. It's almost like, on average though, I mean, the men who have tattoos, they are tattooed up. But the women who have tattoos, it almost outpaces men. It seems like every woman now is a ritual to get a tattoo somewhere. Anyway, I'm not trying to look at tattoos, but it's like she didn't have a tattoo, but her husband was tattooed up big time. And I don't know. To me, a tattoo is a form of, I don't know. So, change the subject here. It's rare to see that. Two people holding hands. I don't know. I think that custom is almost faded out, but that was nice to see that. So we're passing Lynn Hall Park. I'm looking at the Fort Myers Beach Bridge. There's still like relatively no traffic coming on the island. Very bare, like one car every 3 seconds, which is, usually you have back-to-back bumper, at least a 3 or 4 second gap between each car. I didn't know if that was, I'm not going to say the word, but I didn't think that was a woman there. And I don't know. I had too much masculine looking bone structures. Some people come to the beach and I don't know, they look like they're not really impressed. This water is gorgeous. I like wearing surf walkers because I don't like stepping on stuff. I don't know, I got that phobia after I stepped on a big, large shell that gave me a big, deep gouge in my foot when I was like 17 years old. So from that point forward, I like only going in the water with surf walkers, but I'll walk on the beach barefoot because I can see what I'm walking on. But the water is just gorgeous. I don't even mind the little tiny squid or stingrays, jellyfish. I don't mind that. Even sand dollars, as long as I have surf walker shoes on. Now kneeling in the sand when you're in the water, putting my knees up against anything, that's another thing I need to worry about. I do like floating in the water though. It's nice. One thing about the beach is that you're constantly sweating, and if you weren't in shape before you got to the beach, believe me, you're in shape when you leave the beach. This is like a sauna, a whirlpool, an oven. You're losing a ton of water weight, probably a quart of water weight here. You spend each hour, you're probably losing half a pint at least, probably a pint actually, of water weight. Oh, sorry. Okay, here's the pirate. He had 2 parrots last time. He's giving out little pirate hats. Usually it's $5 a photo. So I see he's got 2 parrots with him. So that would be like a pirate horror. That's his occupation. He walks up and down the beach with an umbrella, and he puts on a little pirate garb, and he takes photos, and he gets $5 a photo. Wow. So he probably makes somewhere between $20 and $50 an hour, which is pretty righteous, just to walk up and down the beach. I'm seeing more tattoos. I don't know. I kind of like seeing so many tattoos. It's like the first thing I look for in people is like, hey, you got a tattoo. If you're going into active combat and you have like a 20% chance of surviving, I can understand that. But other than that, yeah, there are some people I've seen that are just disfigured and tattoos, you know, kind of like they're not really cover up your disfigurement, but they pull the attention away from it, which is not really still a good reason to get it. Because a tattoo later in life looks really disfigured. Makes it look like you have a disease. It's that bad. And not only that, usually that's where skin cancer comes from, the tattoo. Over time, that's where the cancer seems to be able to thrive in an old tattoo. And this is interesting coming up. People are waiting to go on a wave runner. Looks like we got 5 people waiting to go on wave runner. Looks like they're going to put 2 on one wave runner and 3 on another. I guess they change when they're out in the water. Who's driving? That's cool. Yeah, that cloud, that microcell, has almost completely rained itself out. Now it's just a passing cumulus cloud. I should say yay or nay when I see a tattoo. I saw 2 yays there. I'm just talking about the women. I'm not talking about the men, because I don't see enough men with tattoos. It seems like every woman I see has a tattoo. Okay, so that would be nay. Nay. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nays. Good. 6, 7. Oh. Now there was 2 nays and a yay. So we're running at 7-1 now. 7 nays, good. Actually, 7-3. All right. Okay, I'm not going to count like that because that's. Here's Diamond Head again. He's setting up his beanbag toss, whatever that is. People call it cornhole. I don't. I'm not a farmer in the Midwest. I call it beanbag toss. Here's a cute puppy on the beach. He's digging. He's a cutie. Yeah, we're just accelerating here because there's not much to see. I was hoping I'd come across those other 2 people that had walked the other way, but looks like it's not going to happen. I'm just going to peer ahead to see if I should stay on the beach a little longer. And I don't see any reason to. It's a long walk for Mars Beach. It's about 6 miles. So if you want to walk the whole length of it, it's about. Those 2 blue buildings standing up on the horizon down there, that's where Publix is. That's about 1.5 miles down there. Behind me, it's at least 1.5 miles back to Bobwitch Point, and then from that Publix onto the end of the island, it's somewhere between 2 and 2.5 miles. So It's almost 6 miles, the whole length. So to walk this whole stretch, even at 20 miles per hour, it's going to, I wouldn't even say a half hour. It's going to take you more than that, unless you're speed walking. If you're practically jogging down the beach, maybe an hour to do the whole thing. It's pretty sad. Anyway, I'm not trying to record that sound there. This is normally how I exit the beach, this area. Hold on. Let's see. It did rain heavy last night here at the beach. It only gave a light sprinkle at my house, but I saw the weather on the south, the beach side of Lee County last night, and it was raining hard. But it didn't come north; it just stayed down there. These people are set up back here. If you want to lose weight, you set up on this side where the sand is, and you're like inside of a furnace. And, they don't realize it, but the sand, the silica sand, is like a glass. So glass is made of silica, and it's reflecting the sunlight up. Sunlight's coming down. It's like an oven. It's 130 degrees, and you're sitting in 130 degrees. Yeah, you may have an umbrella. Yeah, you may be drinking a cold brewski, but you're getting slowly baked. And hey, that brewski is gonna bubble on through you in no time. You'll need a couple brewskis. But if you want to lose weight, and, see, drinking stuff fills up the fat cells, and fat is what melts to create sweat. So your body perspires all the brewski, but you're not burning any fat. It's better if you, if you didn't drink, you'd probably pass out from the heat, but it's better if you limit the consumption of any type of liquid to allow the fat to burn off. But I wouldn't recommend sitting in a low-intensity furnace like that, solar furnace. That building across the street, you get $4.1 million. I can't believe somebody bought it. But if you got the money and you have a long-term vision, now's the time. Now's the time to buy. Everything in Fort Myers Beach now, because interest rates are so high, you have cash. You can buy right now at a very affordable rate. Let's put it this way: the population of the United States, even if they expel 30 to 40 million more illegal aliens, which will make this country really safe, and a lot of those districts that were voting Democrat will start voting something else, which is actually voting for America. Will vote to also improve the country. What's going on in California right now, which is really irritating me. People lit off fireworks, which were legal to buy, now are faced with $10,000 to $15,000 in fines. That's silly. But people who create aggravated assault or robbery in California, they're not prosecuting them. So that's a double standard. And personally, I think the federal government should step in and arrest Gavin Newsom and the mayor of Los Angeles for 8 debating criminals immediately. And again, don't get me started with politics, because I currently don't like what Trump is doing in either Israel or Ukraine. The United States should be out of those conflicts and not supplying weapons either. Trump needs to focus on America first. That's what the people MAGA that voted for him wanted: America first. And Trump is like backsliding. Yeah, the tariffs are good, don't get me wrong. I like the tariffs. He should enact the tariffs. Canada's got 400% tariffs against the United States. We should reciprocate, put 400% tariffs on all Canadian and Mexican. But Trump seems to just waste his time talking about Russia. Let's face it, Ukraine is going to be all Russian. It's going to be annexed, the whole thing. We should give all our military bases to Russia in the Middle East. We need to get out of NATO. NATO is just a big cluster. You know what? We need to get out of that. The United Nations. United Nations acts to the detriment of America. Maybe in the 1950s they were doing it okay, but now they don't. So we need to get out of the United Nations and kick the UN out of New York. And then I think America will become great again. Because these tariffs are a good first start. We're getting a surplus of $30 billion in the first quarter. Maybe the second quarter will be $300 billion, and the third quarter will be a couple trillion. You pay off the national debt by the end of the third term of Trump's. But Trump needs to focus on America. And to tell you the truth, DeSantis needs to be Trump's running mate. Because DeSantis has ideas that... Okay, there's nobody... Oh, okay. Okay, as I said, there was nobody in the pool. They were one... Oh, sorry about that. I don't know, Pirate Margaritaville, they had the pool closed because they thought that microcell was going to produce lightning. Now that storm has rained itself out, just benign cumulus cloud, they reopened the pool. So as soon as that pirate was finished talking on the loudspeaker, they reopened the pool, people showed up again. So there must have been about, by the time I passed there, at least 50 people went back in the pool. First it was 0, then 50. It was about 370 people on the deck. Now, in the little Margaritaville restaurant that's elevated right onto my right, there's a lot of people in there. There's about 30 people in there eating. Again, it's lunchtime, and it's expected, but I know who painted that mural with that shrimp boat there. He painted one while I had a business, and it's good to see that he's still alive. Yeah, I might get banned on YouTube just for that video. Hey, I didn't know that was going to happen. Yeah, I could have had an ice cream store here. See, it's 12 noon. I could have, should have, would have. That was 89. We opened a business with a partner. Unfortunately, it's not your decision. It's a joint decision. If one partner says, no way, Jose, bingo, it's done. The partnership is over. And that's the problem. I recommend only going into business yourself. Don't take on a partnership unless that partner has got oodles of cash. That partner's got oodles of cash. Okay, then there's a partnership. If that partner does not have oodles of cash, then forget it. Business when I was up in Tampa. We had a 3-person partnership. One of the partners was a parasitic partner. So he was a naysayer. When you have a naysayer, believe me, you do not want a partner who's a naysayer. Just immediately exit that before it even starts. This guy was, every time I'd say something, he'd find fault from what I'm saying. Instead of talking about, like, objectionably talking about it, conversation with, like, oh, he hates it, and that's it. And some of these principles, topics, comments I was bringing up was core to business functionality, core to profitability. He didn't want to hear anything about it, so he would have been what's called a parasitic partner. So he would have stolen from the business, lined his pockets at the expense of other partners. They're worse than competition. Media from within. The enemy from within. Just like the federal government with the deep state. You don't want a parasitic partner. Okay? Any partner you have has to be 100%. Don't get Tuscan. And Thomas Edison, if you have to live inside your factory, because that's how businesses succeed. If you have to work 24/7 for 20 days, that's how you do it. Trump did have Edison as a close business partner, and Edison was making money on his Model Ts, so his Model A's, his Model T's at that time. So yeah, by '76, Thomas Edison was electrifying Europe. New York City, Philadelphia, they were electricized, so he was making tons of cash. So I met someone who owns a condo here at Fort Myers Beach. He's upset because his condo's not open. They say they're going to open in August. Well, just for hurricane season, for another hurricane to close them up for 3 more years. And that's the problem. If you live in a condo, but you have rotten condo management, they're going to close the condo for 3 years so they can drag their butts and not do any work to do minor repairs. Then bingo, you've just been scammed. I hear that if you don't have a certificate of occupancy, then your tax bill is only $100 a month per unit. So this place here that's closed here, they're 20 some units. Still, it's $2,000 a year in taxes. I don't know where you're going to pull that money from if you can't rent anything. This blue building here, this would be the perfect investment. Why it's not open? Looks like it'll be open today. Driveway? Driveway's $50,000. Who cares? You can sand it. Take down this fence. If I was Pink Shutters, I would buy it. This place opened up pretty good, this Island Shores. So they have good management. Pink Shutters owns this building here. And they own all this building. It's an environment, and their hotel not as fast as Matanzas Inn and the Lighthouse Inn near the bridge. Those two businesses were lucky because Margaritaville, built out of concrete, acted like a buffer when that 22-foot surf came in. Margaritaville took the brunt of it. And luckily, Margaritaville was built out of concrete and protected the Lighthouse Inn and Matanzas Inn to an extent. And so, instead of 22 feet, they only got maybe 10 feet. But they reopened those two of the first hotels to reopen. Matanzas Inn has good parking. You know, if you're going to park, if you're going to rent anywhere, except the Best Western Plus, which I think that's a good choice. Matanzas Inn would be the second choice because they have good parking. The Lighthouse Inn, I think they have a nice hotel accommodations. Okay, I have to pick it up. It's terrible. Terrible. But if I don't pick it up, I'll incur the wrath of bad luck. That's the problem. And I thought it was a dime, but it's only a penny. Oh, darn it. Oh, terrible. But I'm superstitious. My father was always superstitious. When he came to a bridge, there's some kind of a Lithuanian tradition to honor the god of the bridge and the river. And he was always throwing pennies as he was crossing the bridge because he was afraid that every time he crossed the bridge would collapse. was always asking, why are you throwing away that penny? Why don't you just give it to me? And that was back in the late 60s, early 70s. I was like, whoa, a penny is worth something. You get 5 pennies, that's a pack of gum. 4 pennies was a lollipop. 3 pennies was a pixie stick. I mean, you had some buying power back then. So when I hear talk today about them getting rid of the penny, I'm thinking that's all nonsense. Eventually the U.S. will devalue its currency. I mean, not devalue, but they'll come up with a new currency and they'll reevaluate it. They'll come up with a new penny that's still worth a lot. Let's take everybody's bank account divided by 100. So they'll make pennies worth something. I just think because that would make whatever that generation is, they would lose everything. I'm definitely not in favor of that. That's a form of communism. Sanibel View is beautiful. See, the Captiva Villas is the bigger between Sanibel View and the Captiva Villas. But the biggest one is the main building here. I see a name. I had a chance when I was like 30 years ago to work here, but that would have been just a meaningless job. Meaningless is right. Minimal. It would have been worth it. It was just wasting my time. It would have been like an office desk clerk or something. Something like that. Finding a job in Southwest Florida is almost next to impossible. You really need to know how to be a contractor, work with your hands. You have to be self-employed to earn a good living here in Southwest Florida. Unless you're a doctor, medical institutions were bending over backwards to pay seven-digit salaries to get doctors. Most doctors, when I was working at Florida Cancer Specialists, were coming from India, because India is the most lenient and cost-effective way to get an MD. Like comparatively, like in the United States, it may cost $200,000 to $300,000 to earn your MBA or doctor's license. Over there in India, it costs maybe about $2,000, and half the time. So, and for whatever reason, the qualifications were directly transferable between India and the United States. So most of the doctors were coming over from India, and they were basically just learning on the job, which is kind of scary at the same time. But they had their degrees, they had their salaries, they were buying their big homes on the beach, on the river, having eight children families. Why not? If I was earning a seven-figure salary, I would have definitely 8, 12, however many children I could get. I would have been able to afford 2 personal assistants full time to take care of the children, day and night. Yeah, I'm looking at the water, and the water is pretty high in the bulkheads though in the back bay. So I guess the tide's going out on the Gulf side, but the water in the back bay is still pretty high, which means that the water is just receding now. All right. People are enterprising. They're parking in these empty lots, and then they're walking through the Best Western Plus property to the beach. They're smart, so they don't have to pay This is the soft underbelly side of Fort Myers Beach, where people are, even the police are not really patrolling. See, these three cars do the same thing. They're parking here and then walking to the beach, so they don't pay. Even though there's no, parking signs, you're parking on private property, so you could get into trouble. You have to really be careful. Again, this piece of property on the left-hand side is gorgeous. Excuse me, on the right-hand side. This property on the left-hand side is a parking lot. I think this should be where the 7-Eleven should be, because you would have good access in the front and the back. I think the 7-Eleven used to be there like 40 years ago, and then it moved like right over here on the left-hand side. This is where the 7-Eleven was. Still a bad location, but if I was a 7-Eleven, I would move even closer to where Margaritaville is. So, like this piece of property, I don't know if they can though. The Southwood Corporation owns that, but this one over here, you might get some property with some dockage. They're definitely going to build a big resort here, because this is a big continuous piece of property. So eventually one entity is going to buy all this and they'll develop the whole thing. Some people there drinking beers by the car that think it's, for some reason, it's legal on the beach. No, it's not really legal on the beach. As long as you have one of those container covers over your beer, you go on the beach and drink beer or whatever. You're really not supposed to have a glass bottle of beer, but if you have one of those beverage covers, and actually I'm not going to go down this way. I'm just going to go straight across. Don't get hit by a car. There's actually diagonal crosswalks here, which is kind of weird. I'd find it kind of weird going diagonally across the road. See, there's just definitely not that many cars going down. I don't know what's going on. Sidewalk area is kind of rough. Yeah, this property on the right-hand side, Margaritaville should take over this property. They should. They're going to make it a park, Lee County, Crescent Resilient Park. Silly. Well, if it's a park, people should be allowed to park there for free. The pool is really full now. I just took a look at the shallow end. There's like 30 people just in the shallow end. Oh yeah, at least 200 people in the pool, at least. Another 200 on the deck. So that's the Whale Restaurant on the left-hand side. They got pretty much all the windows on the second floor done. They've done a lot of the windows and the framing on the first floor. Looks good. The third floor looks like it's going to be, well, from this angle, it looks like it's going to be open air, but I would think that they're going to put windows up there too. But it's going to be, it looks nice. It looks like they'll be open by, well, at the rate they're going, maybe September. It'd be nice to open September 1st. So I'm on this side, really gotta cross over. Oh man, there's some like grilled hot dog smell. Buttered grilled hot dogs. Oh man, it smells good. $20 a day there, $30 a day here. And most parking lots, for whatever reason, are not that full. Traffic is moving by pretty briskly, which is rare. I'll be able to cross over, no problem. Yeah, the police pulled somebody over. I saw this policeman. He was laying in ambush mode. And I just gave somebody a ticket. Because this car's not watching where it's going. Yeah. $20 to park here. It used to be $10, but it's kind of smart they raised it to $20. But no one's parking here. And there's 10 cars. I would love to have a casino here. Plenty of parking. Plus, I could take over the post office. They don't need a big post office here. I don't know why they have it on the beach, a post office, just to get wiped out by a hurricane. That doesn't make any sense. Sorry. No, my fault. Sorry about that. Thank you. So the bike store over there is closed. It's Sunday. Makes sense. It's not doing any business. This bike store. Beach cruiser bikes, $15. Wow, that's a great deal. I guess you'll make money on that if they rent it for 3 or 4 hours for $15. Bring it back. That's what people want to do. They want to ride bikes on the beach. They see me riding a bike on the beach. I'm like advertising. So on the left-hand side we just passed, that was an old road that used to go back to a beach ramp, to a boat ramp, and it was public access. So in terms of, there used to be parking for boats with trailers to park back there for free. I don't know what the stipulation is deal now is, but that, we're talking 40 years ago now. Sometimes I could, because I've been here for so long, almost 50 years, I can recollect that far back. Actually, more than 50 years. I was here for about 55 years. Sad. So people usually park here. This used to be Armando's Day Spa. They opened their business, and I think it was in '88. So they were here for a long time. And then again, up here was the Shamrock Inn. And they were open. Wow, long before I even. They were here as a fixture, and it's sad to see that they were wiped out in one storm. Literally, that place was just demolished. They had a bus or something in the back, a Shamrock bus. That was still there, but it was like significantly twisted, like a pretzel. See, this restaurant has good parking, so if you're going to buy this building, you got to look for parking too. This little beach connection over here. Again, if I can put like a little trailer park here, like a, similar to how the beach hardware store over there has like little trailers. If I could put like a food court there. See, Mom's home cooking. I don't know how she did it, but I guess that's the maximum size, food truck size you can have. Once they get this, this property on the left-hand side, that was I think the chapel by the sea. And then this area here, they want to build another Fort Myers Beach Town Center or whatever. They're putting all this dirt here because they want to raise it up a bit. I see no need for this. Fort Myers Beach Town Center, Council, whatever, they've done enough damage to the beach here. They better just stay low-key in the modular buildings that they're currently occupying. They spent a ton of, and they don't even need a fire station here. We have no need for fire station. What we could use here is a little ambulance, like a little emergency room. You have that on the south side of the island, but they do not, and they have a fire station down there. You do not need a fire station up here with big fire trucks. These buildings are made out of concrete. Anyway, so it's pretty benign. There's you have to understand that Fort Myers Beach has its season. That's the second, like the third week of October through Easter. The weekend after Easter, that's it. And then the weekend after Easter, from there, and people say Labor Day, but no, people don't come back here until right before Halloween. So that's when, and they don't really come back on Halloween. They come back. Most of them come back after Halloween, right after actual election day. They vote and then they come here. That's when really season starts. They start coming down here though right before Halloween, but the majority come down here. The snowbirds, they come down here after election day. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and until next weekend.